So, are you ready?
Sure.
Yes.
So we go live.
Yes. Hi everyone, thanks for joining. We will be starting soon as we are expecting more attendees today. Thank you very much for joining this session about the PARSEC Acceleration program. I would start sharing the flow of today, the agenda of today. We would start by presenting you Emmanuel Pajot from EARS. He is the lead partner of this project, of this acceleration program, and he will present the project to you in short, and will give you some more insights about this open call that we are launching until the 20th of December. So I would say that we can start presenting the PARSEC project, and then we move forward to interviewing Petar Indovski. He is one of the winners of a similar acceleration program 2 years ago, and he would share his experiences with you today and would tell you more about maybe some insights about what is valuable about this program and why did he choose to participate in. So at the end, I guess this is why most of you are here. We will answer all your questions regarding this open call. And yes, ever since this open call will be ending soon. So with that saying, let's start right away. My colleague Emmanuel Pajot would take over from here with the presentation about the acceleration program. Emmanuel, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Carla. So my name is Emmanuel Pajot. I'm project manager at the European Association of Remote Sensing Company, and I am delighted to be the project coordinator of this great project, great opportunities for European SMEs to develop. You may know that the ERSC is based in Belgium, and today in Belgium it is Santa Claus. And so I think that today in our SAC we have a wonderful opportunity. For those who are familiar with Earth observation, they may know that the Earth observation market is in a very good health. It means that they can see an increase in the number of companies, employees, and growth. Great. This highlights that currently Earth observation service providers are delivering fitting for purpose and service and product to their customer. This is great. But what we can see too at the same time is there's a huge need and awareness to build. And there's a lot of non-current Earth observation customer we could reach, and thanks to the new capabilities we have. And this is what PARSEC is about. We understand that when we discuss with our members, with company, that company to develop need to have support in 4 main pillars. Access to market, so how to connect with a specific market, which market could be as a more relevant or showing a good trend. Access to knowledge, for example, how to develop a new innovative business model, how can we interact with investors. Access to technology. A lot of companies are a really technical one, but for some, it could be really important, and they would like to have access to new technologies they didn't develop or used. And the last one is access to capital, of course. So this is what PARSEC aims to do. Next slide, please. With our partner, Avacen, Biosense, BWCon, Draxis, Eversys, Evenflow, Geometrix, and Rastaman, we create a path for this. A path with 2 phases. The first one, which started in September, is what we call the Open Call 1, when we are currently in this path. It will close in December. After this, we will have 100 winners who will receive 10K. After this, we will have the second phase, which will start with the Open Call 2 in spring 2020. And 15 teams will receive 100K. And this second phase will end in autumn 2021. So a total of 2.5 million equity free funds will be distributed during this project. Next slide, please. The aim of PARSEC is really to focus on three important markets, which are food, which are energy, and environment. We identify that they are really relevant for our members, but sometimes we heard that companies have some difficulties to position themselves. I am not really food, I'm more on the agriculture side. You are eligible. I'm working in the oil and gas or renewable energy. It seems obvious, yes, but if I work on the mining, if I want to improve smart cities transport, for example, you may be relevant for the energy market. Otherwise, for the environment, we have a lot of different applications too. So at the end of the project, PARSEC Accelerator will have developed support the development of concrete impact for these three markets. Next slide, please. But who can apply to this? You are a startup, European startup, obviously, or an entrepreneur, obviously you are eligible. You are a startup and you already registered, you have a VAT number, you are eligible. You plan to create your company, for example, or you are a researcher and you don't have a company, but you agree that if you are selected, you will register. You are so eligible to apply. So everyone can apply if registered or if they will be registered by the start of the project in an eligible country. Number of countries is very significant. You have access to this in the guide for applicants available on the website. There are member states, overseas countries and territories linked to member states and H2020 associated countries. Next slide, please. This allows you to enter the path. You need to apply to the Open 1. To enter to this, you will have to provide a video. What we call share your vision. And the exercise of this is not to detail what kind of service or product you would like to develop, but it's really to market yourself, your company as a potential partner. And then during the first stage, you will have the opportunity and the need to meet your peers, develop your solution. Then you will have the possibility to pitch your business in front of a jury, for example, in order to reach the Open Call 2. And then at the end of the project, we aim to launch your product. And to enter this path, you need to apply by the 20th of December. So you still have 14 days to apply. Next slide, please. So, if you want to have a global view of this, during the next few days, you still have the possibility to pitch your video and to share it on the platform by the 20th of December. In January, you will be committed. You will have to evaluate your peers to be a peer-to-peer review. And it is mandatory. If you do not contribute to the peer-to-peer review, you will not be selected at the end. Then, of course, you will enter into the phase 1. You will have the possibility to meet all the different winners at the bootcamp, which will be organized end of March. And this is mandatory. It will be in Stuttgart end of March. During this bootcamp and during the different webinars we will organize, you will have different opportunities in order to interact with key people. Key people within the consortium, experts, for example, what we call the business catalyst, who will provide you with technical capabilities to understand what clearly your needs are about, to precise your need, to understand which information you can have access to thanks to PARSEC. You will have the opportunity to interact with people from big players or stakeholders in the EO ecosystem. You will have access to webinars in order to develop your knowledge on different aspects which are not technical, but so important for the business. And then you will have to define teams in order to develop a product or an idea. And in July, you will pitch this idea in front of a jury. And if you are successful, 15 teams will enter into the phase 2. And they will receive 100K for this. And then you will enter a second stage of coaching dedicated to your needs, the specific interaction with a business catalyst, which will deliver to you layers of information you need for your product or your service. So I want to insist on one point. In order to be part of the PARSEC, what will be mandatory during this open call? One will be to provide proof of registration. You will have to attend the physical bootcamp in Stuttgart, and this will allow you to have the first 5K as fund. Then you will have to attend a matchmaking event, or physical or virtual. And then you will have to provide a final report at the end of the phase. Next slide, please. So during this first phase, you will have the opportunity to fuel your idea with EO. What does this mean? It means that you will have access to different experts, which will help you to integrate easily different kind of information coming from EO. For example, the big data cube toolbox, you will have access to a data hub of in-situ data in order to cross in-situ and EO data. And we have access to EOMall galleries. EOMall is a web platform dedicated to the promotion of online services in order to be identified by a potential customer worldwide. Next slide, please. So you understood that the key point is the understanding of the message you will share during the video, in your video, during the application. And we want to share with you some tips and tricks. Next slide, please. What we know is that, and we have heard that 1 minute of video represents about 2 million of words. So I'm not going to challenge this, obviously, but for sure a video is much more than a word. You can share a lot of things, a lot of message in a video. And to do this, a simple smartphone is needed only. So we understand it's not a classic approach, but it's really interesting. The priority to keep in mind in that video is that you need to present you. The video is about you, about your company, and not at all the product or service you may develop. So you need to market yourself. You need to be attractive. You need to show how good partner you are, what makes you more qualified than another partner. Next slide, please. Need to focus on some points. First point is the duration of the video. It's 3 minutes, not 1 second more. Automatically, the system will shut down the video after 3 minutes. It must be public in order to be seen by others. Of course, the content must be appropriate. It must be in English. This is mandatory. And if you are not really comfortable, or you consider it could be relevant, you can add, for example, subtitle in order to clarify some points. What should be the content? It could be related to your previous experience, your understanding of the value chain of one of this market, and it could be about the vision for potential product or services. Next slide, please. So we define few steps in order to help you, and this is a real process. Next slide. First one is really to answer to this question: who you are, what do you foresee, what kind of vision do you have, why do you like this sector, what could be your vision, what could be your potential partner, explain what you know and what you want to do. And the next step could be, next slide, to really highlight all you are connected with the food, the energy, or the environment market. Next slide, please. The first step to work on is the benefit. Not the benefit again of the product or the services, but the benefit you will provide you to your potential future partner. Maybe it could be the network you have access to, maybe it could be the geographical markets, end user needs and knowledge you have, could be really diverse. But really important is to be really straightforward on the benefits you can provide to other potential partners. Next slide, please. What is really important too is to create a connection with the one which will have to review your video. So important to be as spontaneous as possible. But some technical aspects have to be taken into account. Please be sure that the audio is good enough, for example. Really think about the message you want to share to make it understandable for people who may not be familiar with your market. Next slide, please. Your video is done? Great. Now you have to make it available in order to be reviewed. So you will have to go on YouTube in order to upload your video, and please pay attention to make it public. Define it as a public in order to be accessible for the review. Next slide, please. Be creative. I think the video is really unusual for most of us, that's true, but it can be a great time, a great experience for you, for your team. It could be, for example, a great exercise in a team building to really show what you are or how you want to be seen in how you can develop yourself. Next slide. So, to resume, next slide, please. To apply first, you need to read the guide for applicants available on the web page of the website. Shoot your 3-minute video. Go to the PARSEC website, click on the top right in order to apply now, and then register. And final step is to upload your video. Thank you. So we are currently the 6th of December. It's 3:15, so you have 14 days to apply. Please invite you to apply and I invite you to share this with potential company which will be interested by this opportunity. Thank you. If you want to have more information, next slide please, contact us directly through the different channel we have for you, the website or the different channels through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. Thank you.
So, thank you very much for the insights, Emmanuel. I think the roadmap is really clear. But anyways, if you have further questions, then we will make, of course, the Q&A round. And you can already start typing your questions in the menu, and we will come to that later. So make sure that you do that in the Q&A menu and not in the chat. So we move forward, next slide please, to interviewing. As we said, the winner of a previous accelerator program, really similar to PARSEC, and he went through this process that you will be going hopefully in the next days. And so he will share his insights about what convinced him to participate in KATANA, as the project was called, and what value bring to his company or to his project or to his idea in that moment. So Peter, thank you very much for joining this session today. I would start by asking you, why did you choose to take part in this accelerator program?
Yes, thank you, first of all, for the invitation. I'd like to say hello to everybody following this webinar, and really proud to share our experience and hopefully that I could help somehow the participants on PARSEC project. Um, Let me just say something short. We're a kind of technology company, SME from Macedonia, now officially North Macedonia, as an independent developer of innovative solutions based on advanced ICT technologies like IoT, then machine learning, blockchain, mobile and web technologies, etc. During 2017, our team was intensively working on our new product solution. And it was IntelliSTEM solution intended for the agri-food sector. And as we already been working more than a year on the project, we needed a fresh funding, fresh financials to continue in order to conclude it, at least some planned stages in order to bring it as soon as possible to the market. At that period of time, that means during 2017, there were several offering from EU funding projects, let's say funding opportunities. I'm talking about non-equity support, because equity supports there were available pretty much, but we felt we are not ready to go with the equity funding, because you know, in this stage, at the very beginning of development of a new product, it's better to bring it to some really valuable position in order to start successfully your negotiations with the funding equity funds or whatever would be related to. The proposal from KATANA Accelerator looked quite challenging, especially because of the way of selection. It also included a kind of crowdfunding campaign as a final selection. However, we make decision to join KATANA, actually to apply, and primarily because it was one of the first similar project that offered a really a good bundle of not funding, not financial services, including webinars, trainings, expert support, participation to international events, etc., which was very important for my company. So we applied that. Before that, I could also mention that similar to PARSEC, as I got the information, you're using similar kind of very first pre-selection. In KATANA, there were about more than 650 applicants. And after that, about 100 left. And those 100 participants in the call 2 actually were supposed to establish consortium similar to your project. As a matter of fact, we also find the crowdfunding campaign quite interesting because it was a kind of additional, a new opportunity for getting some additional funding for the project, even though that was the crucial and final selection. So we were awarded by the participants. Actually, we sold our products, IntelliSTEM products, to participants in the crowdfunding campaign, collected about something less than 50,000 euros. And after 1 year, we have delivered all those ordered products. So even though the selection process where the all participants are in position of reviewers, and they actually review their competitors, somehow they will realize afterwards that it is quite helpful and important, because during this process they will actually do a kind of judging in the selection of their future partners in the consortium in the second stage. And that helped us also a lot of in this process. And actually, at least we gave our votes to the participants, to the ideas and teams that we would like to have them in our consortium. So let's say what were the benefits that we got from KATANA project, KATANA Accelerator. We were in stage of registering a kind of intellectual property rights for the one of our component, the key component. It was the smart probe, and we have done that using part of the budget. We have planned that and used that for the protection on the national level. And as a matter of fact, now after 1 year, we are applying for protection of that patent to WIPO, the World Organization for IP Rights Protection. We liked very much the preparation, initial preparation event held at the beginning, even before, at the end of the first stage, and as a preparation for the crowdfunding campaign, so before the final selection. The event that has been held in Stuttgart, and that was very interesting, that we got chance to meet all, let's say, trainers, experts, etc., and to talk to them. And it was very important to know them, because during the project you could easily share your problems and expect some technical assistance from them. Okay. Yeah, more or less that. I'm available for questions. We also like those events where all the participants, including the SMEs from the project consortia, we all had a really good time during the international events, or some of those were obligatory to participate in, some of those were optional. So in general, we are really very much pleased with the participation, and we'll continue using those kind of opportunities, because those are not only funding opportunities, but all those are we should be considered as the very first internationalization of the solutions, of the products. You know, being there, you're making the very first contacts from various countries, making future partnerships, etc., etc.
Oh, thank you very much. That was really comprehensive, Peter. And once again, yes, thank you for sharing your insights. At this stage, I would like to also to clarify that there are, even though there are similarities in the KATANA Accelerator program, PARSEC is different in the sense that at the end, we are not running crowdsourcing campaigns. We actually have budget to give to the participants that made it to the second stage. So yeah, we might speak about that in the Q&A questions, which should start right now. We have had during this session your feedback, and we would like to start with one question. Emmanuel, I mean, the dynamic will be following, and here we are the three persons that you see here, besides from Petar, who was the beneficiary from this accelerator program, is Emmanuel, who you already know. I'm here with my colleague from Germany, Dominic and Carla from VW.com. And then you can see also Ruta and Nefeli, which are also partners from Belgium. So we will try to comprehensively answer all your questions from now on. So let's just start. I would start with the question, which I consider really, really important, which is, do I have, and this might be directed to you, Emmanuel, do I have any commitments as an applicant for the Open Call 1?
As I said during this the presentation, I think, yes, that's true. You will have a few commitments. That's absolutely right. But we want to make it as minimal as possible. We don't want to create barrier at all. In terms of commitment, what you will have to is to, after the finalization of your contract, if you are selected. So it means you provide all the legal documents needed. In terms of commitment, you will have to attend the boot camp. So it will be a 3-day event in Stuttgart last week of March. You will have to attend this matchmaking event. In order to make it as simple as possible, we propose both physical and virtual event, 6 in total. And you will have to provide a report at the end of the phase. If you do all this, you will receive in 2 times the 10K fund mentioned.
Okay.
In terms of other, not requirement, but element you have to consider is that you will have to form a partnership with at least 1 up to 3 organizations in order to apply to the second step, the Open Call 2. This is a big difference between the Open Call 1, which is 1 entity, and the Open Call 2, which is dedicated to consortia of 2 to 4 organization.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for that. I will then jump to the next question. I want to clarify some terminology that is used here, and I'm not sure if you are referring to this, and I cannot see who actually delivered this question. But is there any strategy about sharing the IP between the partners within a team consortium? I'm guessing that you're referring to intellectual property, but I'm not sure. So if you can come back to us with the chat, we will answer this question afterwards. So the next question is, hi, is it necessary that the startup must use the Earth observation data?
Yes, it is mandatory to use Earth observation data or Earth observation based product or services. It doesn't need to be data itself. It could be something which has been already processed and you can integrate in your product or service. But it has to have a link with Earth observation data, Earth observation ecosystem.
Okay. What about if you are not exactly doing this, but you might form a consortium with someone who might do that? That would be could be possible or not, or you necessarily need to use the data.
Excuse me, could you repeat it?
What about, I mean, if your solution is not based on that, but you form a consortium or you find people during the bootcamp that is able to use the Earth observation data, then...
Absolutely, this is perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect configuration. This is what we call, we have 2 approaches, the cross-border or a cross-sectorial approach. The aim of this project is to help to create bridge between the Earth observation community and non-Earth observation community. So in order to help the non-Earth observation community to understand more what kind of value can be integrated in their current process. So it is a perfect match for a consortium.
Perfect. Yeah, I think this is a really relevant topic because I got this question asked a lot.
Yes, we had this question too a lot, and we can notice that there is still a lack of awareness about the Earth observation capabilities and so on. So it's really a good tool, a good approach, and you are perfectly eligible.
Yes, so that leads to my next question that is related to it. It's from Pedro, and it says, could you clarify the Earth observation data needed for this project? So the role of this data, you kind of spoke about it, but maybe we can clarify it better.
Earth observation data needed for this project. I'm not sure about the wording, to be honest. What kind of Earth observation? It could be public data, such as, for example, Copernicus from the European part. It could be a Landsat, why not? It could be other kind, or it could be commercial data. In the context of PARSEC, what we will propose to beneficiaries is to have easy access to Copernicus data and Copernicus services, providing them with a data cube. So if you understand during the discussion you had with what we call business catalyst, that this solution, this data or product are relevant for you, this is absolutely fine. If you understand that you may need other kind of data, for example, commercial data, then, for example, you could use at least a part of your budget you will have in order to acquire, or we could try to create links with you and the appropriate data owner, provider, in order to develop, for example, a prototype and to test this possibility.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the clarification. So let me go right now and jump to the part of eligibility and open call exactly. So this question was already answered, but I would like to come back to it since it's really important in this open call. Who will evaluate videos, participants or experts?
The peer-to-peer approach, which is used in PARSEC for the open call one, is peer-to-peer made by applicants. So it has to be really clear that you will, as an applicant, have to review different videos from other applicants. Of course, a lot of people may say, oh, but if I see a strong competitor, I will give him a very bad mark in order to maximize my chance. It's a really wrong approach, unfortunately, because the tool is made in order to take into account not only your view, but the view of the other one who will view the same video. So if the software considers that you are unfair in a way, it will reduce your own mark. And this is really important. And I think this is something which has been really well understood and appreciated by people who already use this peer-to-peer approach in other projects. So it's really, it's new, that's true. And that's why we don't want beneficiaries or applicants to describe in detail what will be the service or the product they plan to develop in order to avoid any source of information for business intelligence. But yes, applicants, potential applicants, will review, will be part of the scheme of peer-to-peer review.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Another question which is related to eligibility, and I guess maybe going to the bootcamp and the pitching stage in front of the what people can actually take from this matchmaking events in the next stage that follows the open call. The question is, do we need to show the product or at least a prototype of the product that is pitched? I'm guessing this is during this video pitch. I guess the question here will be, what do they have to show here?
You do not need to show any kind of product for the video pitch, in the video pitch. What you need to is show how relevant you are as a potential partner in this. What will be important in terms of prototype and so on will be when you will identify your partner for the open call 2 in front of the jury. Yes, you will have to show the maturity of your ID, what is the current level of development, and so on and so on. But it is for open call 2 and not for the open call 1.
Okay. I would follow in the same order of ideas with this straightforward question. For entrepreneurs or researchers applying, do they also have to register as a company if selected?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. In order to become a PARSEC beneficiary, you will need to be registered. But if you are not, you can proceed with the application. And if you are successful, you will have to register in order to enter the scheme.
Okay, perfect. Another one on the open call says, if we already have a commercial video for our SME, can we use it for the PARSEC open call?
Yes, if it is a 3-minute video and
exactly.
if it perfectly fit with the purpose of PARSEC, then obviously you can reuse a video you already own.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go back to the technical questions again, Emmanuel. What specific Earth observation data sets will be provided?
We will provide access to Sentinel data on Copernicus services, and what is really important to understand is that the exact type of data will be defined with the phase 1 beneficiaries. It means during, for example, the bootcamp we will have in Stuttgart, you will have the opportunity as a potential applicant for the open call 2 to really define what are your needs, and you will discuss with our expert. And thanks to this, they will customize the data you will have access if you are successful for the open call 2. So I will not describe a list of data or product today, because I think most of them could be completely useless. But the interest is really that we will customize as far as we can the list of data you will have access to during the open call 2. If you already have some clear idea about what you want, you can please share them with us. It will help us to potentially to identify what are the priorities and to prepare this for the next step.
Okay, thank you. This is another straightforward and technical question that says AR, EEG visualization in Galileo, Copernicus data, Apple Watch control, recycle robot in emergency, solar impulse, solar flying bike for normal people. Is this scope that we're looking for?
I think the scope is the scope you have in your mind, in your vision. Be imaginative. If you have identified a potential connection between something which is Earth observation and something which is not at all Earth observation, but which fits with one of the 3 markets, this is a great opportunity. I think we have a lot of possibilities to inject Earth observation data or services in a lot of different solutions. Be imaginative, and it can be, yes. The only limitation is, I would say, we have our most important barrier. We have to
ourselves.
Ourselves, yes.
Okay, perfect. There is another question in regard to Earth observation. Is there an overview of members of the Earth observation community in order to see whether there is a possibility for cooperation?
Currently, we can't share the entities we applied, obviously. But obviously, when all the contract will be signed and we will be during the phase 1, it will be transparent to have the list of the different beneficiaries of PARSEC in order to identify who could be the best partner to partner with.
Okay. I would like to go with this really creative question. Can we have an animation video explaining the need, our solution, and the competences of each member of the team with real pictures? Meaning if they can do an animation video.
That's simply great. Enjoy it, and we will enjoy it too.
Hopefully the peers will also enjoy it.
Exactly, it could be a differentiator. So yes, for sure.
Yes. So we are almost done with your questions. There's one regarding consortia formation that says, is having a partner from inside the PARSEC round 1 pool of teams regarded as better than bringing our own partner to the second round? Is that clear, or should I repeat it?
Of teams regarded as, of course not. If I understand correctly, is having a partner for inside the PARSEC round the team again as better than bringing their own partner to the second round. What you will have, we didn't publish yet the guide for applicant for the second open call. But what will be needed is to form consortia, and at least one of the company involved in the consortia will have to be an OpenCon 1 winner. If no company belonging to a consortia, an applicant for the OpenCall 2 apply, the consortia will not be eligible. They will need to find at least one partner in the winners of the OpenCall 1.
Okay, thank you very much.
So there's no advantage here. No. No.
Okay, I would like to finish with this question. Would you consider open source projects with alternative product and market strategies, or does the resulting product need to be for profit or commercial?
It's an interesting, really interesting question. The aim of this project is to develop new products and services. Does it need to be commercial? For the OpenCall 1, I would say for sure no. For the OpenCall 2, it will be reviewed by people who come from very different part of the value chain. Non-for-profit could be for companies, because at the end, all the applicants will be registered, will act as a company, as a startup, as a mature SME, as researchers. We have created a spin-off also. But they normally have in mind a kind of business model, so to be sustainable at least. If they want to consider that a solution could be based on a freemium approach, and it will be the first step, and it will be thanks to PARSEC that they will reach this first step, I think it's perfectly relevant. And maybe they could develop in a second stage, later, after PARSEC, another step, which will be for profit, but based on the solution developed thanks to PARSEC. So it is a yes.
Okay. Okay, we have one final question that says, you mentioned that during OpenCall 2, there must be at least one company in the consortia which utilizes the Earth observation data. Does it mean that during OpenCall 1, any company can apply, even if they do not use Earth observation data?
Absolutely. Company who do not use Earth observation data can apply to the OpenCall 1. It will be the opportunity, the gateway to understand how they can integrate Earth observation in their process, how to identify a potential partner. So yes, you don't know Earth observation, but you would like to know more about it. You would like to investigate the potential integration of this. Please apply. and you may be funded for this exploratory work.
And also to add value to your products or services.
And at the end, to add value to your product, yes.
Perfect. So I would say that this is a perfect end to this Q&A questions for the people who might not be sure about the scope of Earth observation and how deep has to be related with their product or services or company. But I think it's really clear to everyone right now. And hopefully we'll have fulfilled your expectations today. I would like to thank you very much all for attending this webinar today. We hope to see you in Stuttgart in the bootcamp. And so yes, please take advantage of this opportunity. And thank you very much for coming to us with your questions and with your feedbacks. And we remain at your disposal. So thank you very much. Goodbye from Germany.
Goodbye from Brussels, Belgium.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
No problem.